Okay then, in this video we will talk about arrays and how to perform different tasks using arrays. So we'll start with the basics. First of all, we have learned about arrays. So this is the first program in which we will take input from user and then just display it. So in the main function, look at the first line of code. We have an array whose name is A and it has 10 elements and it is of integer type. That means we have A that can hold 10 integers and we can't put any other values in it. No float or double is allowed because we have declared it as an array of integers. Now in the second line I've used I have declared I as integer and I have used it for iteration. Here I have a loop here, for loop, that starts from 0 because we know that indices of the arrays start from 0 and I is less than 10 means that it will move from 0 to 9. So there will be iteration of 10 times. So this loop will start from 0 and end at 9. And then we have asked the user to enter the values and then we use the cin so that user can input 10 elements of array A. Now I've just copied this loop here. This loop starts from 0 just like the first one and ends at 9, and I have just printed the values that I inputted in the beginning. So when I just run this program, it asks me to enter the element at index 0. So I just put the values here. I have put 10 values starting from index 0 and ending at index 9. So it starts from 6 and ends at 8, and then just after I put all the values, it has displayed all those values starting from 6 and ending at 8. So this is the first program in which we took the data from the user and then just displayed it. Now we'll just make some changes in it. For example, I don't want to print these elements, but I want to print the sum of these elements. So for this purpose, I am taking another integer which is called sum, and in the beginning it has the value of 0. Now in the loop, this is the loop we use for input. In this loop, I'll just add all these elements in sum. So I add sum plus a of I and then save it in sum. So we have a variable called sum, and then we do inside the loop we are copying all the values in this variable. So when we put the first value, it is saved in sum, and then the second value, that is saved in sum, and so on and so forth. When we move towards the last value, all the values are saved in this variable called sum. And then when loop is finished, we can just print these values. I just changed the size of the array so that it is more convenient. So now we have only 5 elements. Now if I run this program now, I put simple data in 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Now the sum of all these elements is 15, and which is displayed here. We can put any values here. So this is the second thing we did here. Now if I want to add just those numbers which are at even indices, For example, when I put the first value in, this is at index 0. The second value is at index 1. The third value is at index 2. The fourth value is at index 3. I want to add all those numbers which are at even indices. So that means this is at index number 0. This number is at index number 2. Similarly, if I had another number, this would be at index 4. So I put 5 values, I have saved 5 values, but I want the sum of all those values which are at even indices. So for this purpose, what I can do here is I can just add one if statement, that if I mod 2 equals 0, that means if I is even, then we can find the sum. So for even indices, when I is equal to 0, this becomes true, so we can add that element in the sum. When I becomes 1, this is not true, so nothing would be saved in sum. When I becomes 2, 2 mod 2 equals 0, that is true, so it adds that element to the sum. When I becomes 3, 3 mod 2 is not equal to 0, so this is not executed. When I becomes 4, 4 is an even number, so the fourth index value would be saved in sum. So only those numbers which have positive index would be saved in this sum. So let's try and run this. I put 8 here, 7, 9, 5, 4. So what would be the sum of all these 5 numbers? Only those values at index 0, index 2 and index 4 would be added. So 8 plus 9, 17 plus 4, 21. So this is the sum of just the even indices. If I change it, I just want to add those numbers which are at odd indices. So I just need to change equal sign into not equal to. If I run this, now element in index 1 and index 3 will be saved. So answer should be 5 plus 2, 7. Similarly, if I want to change, now we're moving to the next program. First, we just you took the input from user and displayed it. In the next portion, we displayed the sum of all the elements. In next program, we displayed the sum of all the elements which were at even indices. And in the fourth one, we added all those elements which were at odd indices. Now, if I want to add just those elements which are even themselves, for example, it's not about the indices this time. For example, I'm putting these elements here. Now, I want to add those elements which are even themselves. For example, 6, 8 and 4, they are even. So I want to display the sum of just even elements. For this, I just need to change I into A of I. That means the value itself, not its index. So I'll just make sure that all those even numbers present in this array are added. So I just changed I into A of I. That means when I is 0, then A of 0, we check the number itself, the value itself at present at that index. If it is even, we just add it to the sum. So we are now dealing with the values and not with the elements. If I run this program, so in this case, first three values, first three elements are even, So the sum would be 4 plus 6 plus 8, that is 18. So 18 is displayed. Now we move to the next program. And similarly you can change here not equal to, and what we can do here is here all those elements which are odd, their sum will be displayed. Or we can even change it to this. For example, this would display the sum of even elements, and I can use else here, and I can take another variable and display the sum of odd elements at the same time.